Some sad news to bring to you that Justin Edinburgh, the Leyton Orient manager, has passed away at just the age of 49. Had a cardiac arrest just 5 days ago and unfortunately never really recovered. So rest in peace from everybody here at Newcastle Fans TV. So this video is sponsored by the One Football app. It's the app which you can tailor make yourself. You can search for players, you can look at Newcastle. It also pulls in all the local media, the national media, everyone when they're talking about Newcastle. The app is on there, so download it. The link is in the description for that. And today we thought, because the news is a little bit quiet, tomorrow we've got the live stream, which is on Nova FM, Anyone FM, and we're going to be streaming across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch and Periscope as well, all at once with our live radio show from 7 PM on Sunday. But we're going to be bringing you players' contracts running down, because we've got a few players within now 2 years of the contract remaining, and it's a case of, do you sell while the value is high or do you keep them? So let's get on with it. Let's begin with the first man, which is Mo Diarra, who has just literally been released, but there is reports out there saying that he could come back. Now, judging what Rafa Benitez has said, is that Mo Diarra, he wished him well and good luck in the future. That sounds to me that Mo Diarra is not coming back to the club. So would you keep him? Would you not? My only concern is its depth. If Newcastle have plenty of depth and we're signing a couple of players, fine, but I feel we should have just kept him just as squad depth. I know he's 32 now, but I just feel that Newcastle don't have a strong bench. So moving into players who've only got 1 year left on your contract, and this is in a dangerous position because you can run your contract down and leave for nothing. Looking at the players that are on the list, I don't think there's many of them that have high value, so let's begin with it. Federico Fernandez, for me, in the first half of the season, was the player of the season. Lost his place when Lejeune came back, and then you've seen Fabian Schär and Jamal Lascelles be the main three in the swing-back system. I think he's solid. I think we give him a 7 out of 10, the player ratings. Only 1 year left on his deal, 30 years of age. Even if we lost him in a year's time, I don't even think we'll command a big fee if we sell him over this summer. I think he's one to keep, even if it means running down his contract. The next man is Sung-Yueng, again 30 years of age. We only signed him on a 2-year deal, similar to Fernandez as well. Solid, can bring the ball forward. I think he's a good squad player, but I think he's just that. I think he is only just a squad player. And again, if we were to sell him now, I don't think his value is massive, so letting his contract run down, if we don't sign him as an extension, isn't the worst thing in my eyes. Javier Manquillo, look, he's not everybody's favourite. Him and Hostler always seem to get stick. Manquillo, look, even if we sold him, he's 25, he's still relatively young, don't get me wrong. I just think his future's not at the club. I know there is doubt about DeAndre Yedlin, but for me, Manquillo is the worst of the two. I think Manquillo is slightly better at defending, but your modern day football has to get up that pitch. So if Manquillo runs down his contract, if we can't sell him over the summer, again, I don't think that's a worst case scenario. The next man is Hostler. Look, we all know that Hostler was very close to joining Alvarez. The newly promoted side have just got Ayoze Perez from West Ham. If he goes, 1 year left on his contract, the rumoured fee is 1.7 million. Marsat is saying in Spain. Look, we all want Hostler to leave the club because he's not up to expectations. Keegan Clark's got a better goal scoring record than him, and he's a defender. So that tells his own story. I don't think anybody will lose sleep over Hostler. And this is where it's interesting, because we've now got 3 goalkeepers who've only got a year left on the contract. We know that Martin Dubravka's number 1, we know this, but who's going to be number 2? So Carl Darlow is the first one, 28 years of age. I think he needs to be playing regular first team football now. If Newcastle cash in for 2 or 3 million, I think that'll be good business from both sets of parties. The other one is Rob Elliott, 33. He's been transfer listed since January. Rafa Benitez wants him out the club, still got another year to run on his contract. We'll not get much money for him, $500,000 perhaps up to $1 million if we were to get rid of him this summer. But if his contract was to run down and he was second to third choice goalkeeper, again, I don't think the club will lose much sleep over it, but Rafa does want him out. And the last one, which is the interesting one, is Freddie Woodman, 22 years of age now, wants to either go out on loan the last 18 to 24 months. Had a great spell out with Kilmarnock, lower league football he's played as well with Crawley, but I just think now's the time for Freddie Woodman to be our number 2. I've said this last season, but I generally feel with the other 2 goalkeepers, Woodman has to now solidify himself as number 2 and get him signed on a 5-year contract. Give him reassurances that he'll play cup games, because he's played 3 last season, he's only played 4 in total for Newcastle, and I think Woodman, I would like to keep and get him on a longer term deal. Jack Colback's another one for the forgotten man. He's got another year left on his contract. Myself, including a lot of Newcastle fans, thought he was a free agent over the summer. Even Jack Colback didn't know. He had to ask his agent. Nottingham Forest fans, and he's played well for Forest. I think it makes the right moves to go to Forest if we can get a small fee off him, $500,000 up to $1 million. Again, I think that'll be good business to get him off the wages because he's on a lot of money. Martin O'Neill wants to sign him. He just feels that the wage factor is a problem. If Newcastle have to contribute to some of that wage, I think, again, Rafa Benitez, if he is at the club, will accept that. And then we're going to move on to the players who have got 2 years left on the contract. There's a lot of first team footballers here because right now this will be their biggest sell on value, because if we let it run down into 12 months we won't get as much money if we do sell him. So the first one is Jonjo Shelvey. 2 year left on his deal, 27-year-old now. Didn't have much first team action because of injuries and form of Key and later the form of Isaac Hayden and Sean Longstaff. For me personally, I'd like to keep him. Would you tie him down for a long contract? Probably not. 4 years maximum, which will probably take him to the age of 31, pushing 32. I just don't feel that we don't have to worry about this one as much. I know there is talk of West Ham every time there's a transfer window comes round, but I cannot see Rafa Benitez, or even if it's another manager who comes in, who allows Mo Diarmi and Isaac Hayden to leave, and on top of that, Jonjo Shelvey, and then Key's only got another year left. So I can't see Jonjo Shelvey leaving personally. I'll be shocked if he does go. The other one is Matt Ritchie. He's already hinted that he's in talks with the club to sign a contract extension. He's 29 years of age now. His legs will start to go, but he works hard. He gets up and down that left flank, and he's been reverted to a left wing back role, whether he plays that next season or goes back to his traditional right wing or left wing. I think Ritchie, 2 years, if we were to sell him now, would be the highest value, because if it runs down another year, he'll be 30 with 1 year left on his contract. If you were to sell him, I think it'll be now, but I'm against that. I think you've got to keep people like Matt Ritchie grafters. He's a leader. He doesn't ask for the captain's armband. He just runs around and showing the signs. If you're not the ability of a world class player, then at least graft hard, and he does that, and he gets loads of crosses into the box as well. So keep him definitely. Dwight Gayle's an interesting one. 28 years of age. Leverage for the Rondon deal if it does happen or it doesn't. What do we do with Dwight Gayle? He's got 2 years left on his contract. I think the time is probably best to sell him now. If we were to sell him, I wouldn't be against it, but if we were to keep him, I wouldn't be against that either, because I do feel that he's an upgrade on Mutu. Some of you might disagree on that. I think he's a better option than Mutu off the bench. If we keep Dwight Gayle, if we can't sell him, that's okay, but the best time would sell him now, because there's Championship clubs sniffing around him and he can get 15 million from him, because he's a guaranteed goal scorer in that league. So now is the time to sell Dwight Gayle. Next one is the big one. I think Ayoze Perez's value at the moment, because the market has just went crazy, he's up to 30 million. I know Kyle's against that, what we rate him. I rate him up to 30 million going upwards because of his age, his form, his several positions that he can play. He always seems to come good at the second half of the season. I'm against selling him, don't get me wrong. I think I am his critic as well, especially in particular during the first half of the season. He never seemed to kick it off, but he seems to have this relationship with Rondon and Almiron. If we can get Rondon signed, there you go, there's the front three. Perez has got to sign a long-term deal. He might be just hinting that he wants to move away to get that contract extension. He's on small money. He should be up to 50 grand a week at least, because he's guaranteed you now the last 2 seasons to get you double figures, and he's not a striker, out and out striker. So if we were to sell him, it'd be a good thing for the club to get over 30 million. I generally feel we'll get that. My only worry is who's at the helm, who's at the takeover, because do we have the money reinvested back on that side? I don't know. DeAndre Yedlin is the next man on that last 2 years left. He's still quite relatively young, same age as Perez, 25 years of age. He's actually just 3 weeks older than Perez. Yes, he's got his critics, but I'd rather have Yedlin ahead of Manquillo going long term. If Yedlin, I don't think Yedlin's our first choice out and out right back. I'd like to say that position strengthened, but I think he's a good squad player to have, and his value is probably I would probably say it's up to 10 million. I don't think it's any more than that. If he goes into his last years of his contract, again, I don't think it's more than 10 million either. I don't think, especially with Yedlin, that his market value will change massively, because he doesn't bring this sounds disrespectful, but he doesn't bring much going forward in terms of assists, but he is a threat on that right flank with his pace and getting back. The next man is Fabian Schär. You've got to get him on a longer contract. He's only got 2 years to go, and there's clubs like Spurs and Arsenal sniffing around him. For me, player of the season. We only got him a 3-year deal. He's already done 1 year of that. 27, still relatively young. His legs will not go until he's in his 30s, so get him on a longer deal. If it means a higher wage, get him on a 4-year deal, whatever. I'm for that. Definitely for that. You've got to get Fabian Schär on a long-term deal without a shadow of a doubt, and he's got a better goal-scoring record than some of our strikers at the club this season. Jacob Murphy's an interesting one, especially with the wing-back system. He's going to come back in pre-season, still young at 24. How much time do you give him? Do you give him another year? Because if we want to try and recuperate some of that 12 million that we bought from, the time to sell him would be now. You're probably talking, it won't be as much, don't get me wrong, you're probably talking 6-7 million that you'll get for him. If that runs down to his final contract, that's probably going to be about 4 to 5. But with the wing-back system is interesting, because if we do carry on that wing-back system going into the new season, Jacob Murphy's done well at the Euro under 21s 4 years ago when he's played for England in that role. Maybe that's a new role for him. But if we were to sell him, I'm not massively against it. I would still personally give him another year, but his market value will decrease. I think Newcastle will just have to accept it. It wasn't a great signing. Isaac Hayden is the time now. You've got to sell him. You want to keep Hayden because he's been absolutely fantastic in the second half of the season. I'll put my hand up and say he was awful. I don't want to say in a black and white shirt. There's loads of people who said that with his carry on with Cardiff and then speaking out twice that he wanted to leave. Knuckled down, worked hard, but I think now is the time to sell him. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He wants away for personal reasons. Isaac Hayden, you can probably talk in between 10 to 15 million. That's a great fee for a player who wants out the door, who isn't necessarily considered first choice all the time. You only got on that side because of injuries and you made it his own. If we had all the players available on form, I don't think Hayden would play, and I'm talking on form, all the players, I don't think Hayden would play. So now is the time to sell him because of his personal circumstances. The next man is Kieran Clark. I would also sell. He's not getting much game action, even though he's even got a better goal scorer record than Hoslow this season. But Hoslow's getting some stick in this video, isn't he? So with Kieran Clark, for me, he's 29 years of age. You can get up to 5 to 6 million, I feel, with 2 years left on his contract. He's been dropped for the latest Irish side because he's not playing as well. But I think with the squad depth that we have in centre backs, he is 5th choice. If we do sell him, we'd have to bring in probably a youngster to come up for the Yanks. Maybe you want to, I don't know, you maybe want to look at the under 23 set up perhaps with Kellen Watson, Owen Bailey, who knows. But Kieran Clark for me would be the great time to sell him. Christian Atsu, who causes a lot of controversy. Paul hates him. If you are going to get, I don't think we'll get much money for Atsu regardless if he's in 2 year or 1 year, because for me he doesn't offer enough assists and goals. 27 years of age now, even if he's got 2 years left on his deal, whether that falls into 1 year if he stays for another season, I don't think we'll get more than 5 or 6 million from him. I just don't think he's at the quality that pushed Newcastle to the next level. I think later on in his career, when his legs start to go, I generally feel he'd be converted to a left back. Ashraf Lazar, you've got to try and get out the door. He's the next man on this list. 27 years of age. Rafa Benitez has made a mistake in signing him. Only 10 games he's played for Newcastle in the time he's been at the club for 3 years. Yes, I know he's had a mini successful loan out Sheffield Wednesday, and Sheffield Wednesday can buy him. Great. If we can get up to $1 million, fantastic. Sell him. But if he stays at the club, I just don't think he's got any value. I just don't. If he runs down that 1 year, I just don't think if we sell him next year, we might just have to loan him out. Maybe similar to Jack Colback. And then the last man on the list is Rolando Aarons. Again, still relatively young, 23-year-old. A great time. He didn't lose a game for Sheffield Wednesday when he played. 2 years left in his contract. If you are going to get some money, again, I just don't feel it's much. I don't think you're going to get more than 5 or 6 million for Rolando Aarons. I think Yufi's on his side. If he runs down that contract, you'd probably loan him out for a season if he's not wanted. I don't think Rafa Benitez fancies him a great deal. He has showed signs and promise, but because of attitude problems, because of injury problems, I just think his future is away from the club. So we can get him out to Sheffield Wednesday as well as Lazar. We're laughing, aren't we? We'll probably get 6, 7, 8 million for the pair of them, and there's a massive chunk of the wage bill, in particular Lazar's wage, saved as well. So that is the players who are running out of contracts for the last 12 months and the last 2 years. Let us know what you think on that. We'll tune in tomorrow for a live radio show, which is broadcast all over our Facebook and YouTube, and it's also on Nova FM and Anyone FM. Have a good night, everyone. Ta-da, bye-bye.